This is Philadelphia Eagles Now by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr. Hope everybody out there is having a fantastic weekend. Coming up here on the show, we're going to take questions from our real ones and our loyal subscribers who are tapped into the program here on Eagles Now. And if you haven't subscribed, you ain't alive. If you haven't watched one of our watch parties, you got to join the movement here. We'll be live so you can see for yourself for some Sunday night football here in Week 12. Eagles on the road to take on the Los Angeles Rams. The Birds have not lost to the Rams in Los Angeles since the 1970s. And I reached out to our friends at Vivid Seats, and they told me that 53% of the fans at SoFi Stadium on Sunday are going to be Eagles fans. If you can't go to the game, join us for our watch party. Pre-game show, during the game, live play-by-play, audience interaction, instant reaction. We'll ride that wave together. After the game, we'll do a post-game show, and of course, some Super Chat giveaways for some legends out there who want to donate to the program. Joe Lord gets us started with the $5 Super Chat as we open up the floor and chop it up as a family. The defense has been superb. Thoughts on Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua against Quintanamo Bay and Darius Slay. Bay and Slay. I like how you rhyme that. The defense has been fantastic during the 6-game winning streak. They have been just so excellent, and it's really mind-blowing how good they're playing as compared to last year. They couldn't get off the field on third downs. They couldn't get stops in the red zone. They were giving up explosive plays. They couldn't tackle. They couldn't pressure the quarterback. They couldn't do anything well. Vic Fangio comes in and changes that, especially during the 6-game winning streak where Philadelphia is giving up under 13 points per game. They have given up a total of 4 touchdowns during the 6-game winning streak. They forced 11 turnovers the last 4 games. They're really sound at all 3 levels. They're flying to the football. They are tackling well. And so it's a great development that the Eagles defense has been as good as they've been, led by some young marquee players. And hopefully this core group going to be together, stay healthy for a very long time. As for the matchup, Quinyon Mitchell, Darius Slay against Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. Let me throw Cooper DeJean in there as well, right? Because Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, they can run routes out of the slot. And that's going to be the territory for Cooper DeJean. So I throw Quinyon, Slay, and DeJean in that mix. It's going to be a really good matchup. This Rams offense, you think about Matthew Stafford and Kyron Williams, an improved offensive line, Kupp, Nacua. They've underperformed a little bit. Part of that is because Matthew Stafford's a little bit up and down. A lot of that is due to injuries. But the Rams are hot just like the Eagles are hot. They've won 4 of their last 5 games. And so I'm very intrigued and excited to see how the young corners match up against Kupp and Nacua, how Darius Slay plays as well, and how this Eagles defense plays on the road against one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL. Braylon Rodriguez and top offensive minds in the NFL in Sean McVay. The Eagles have a good chance to go to the Super Bowl if they keep playing like this and beat the Lions. Go Eagles. Yes, so the Lions are a really good team, and they really broke out last year when they made it to the NFC Championship game. They were up 17 points against the Niners on the road before San Francisco really stormed back and won that game in stunning fashion. And going into this year, I really like the makeup of that Lions organization. Their GM, Brad Holmes, has done a terrific job in compiling talent. Dan Campbell, like Nick Sirianni, a CEO type of head coach who's a good motivator and culture builder. You don't just have to be a play caller to be a quality coach in the NFL. And then they're really talented. They needed to get better at corner. They've been able to do that. They certainly miss Aiden Hutchinson, but they make the trade for Zadarius Smith. They're built in a lot of ways like Philadelphia on the offensive line. One of the top offensive lines in the game. Really good running game, too, with David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. That 1-2 punch is excellent. Jared Goff has played really well this year. If he has to go on the road in a playoff game in January and it's cold, his home-road splits, indoor-outdoor splits, they are drastically different. And that's why it's important for Philadelphia to try to get the number 1 seed. Because right now, it's kind of the Eagles and the Lions who are on this collision course to meet in the NFC title game. I think so far they've been the top teams in the NFC. If Philadelphia has to go on the road to Detroit, It's going to be loud, going to be raucous. They can win there. They're the more experienced team. But if the Lions have to come to Philadelphia, I just don't fear Jared Goff all that much. But that Lions team, certainly legit. But this Eagles team, legit as well. Joe Lord, $2 super chat. Chase and Chip, excited to possibly see more Jalen Hurts. Yeah, so with Jalen Hurts out, with Bryce Huff out with that wrist surgery, he's going to rejoin the Eagles' best case scenario for a stretch run. Jalen Hurts going to get some more snaps. He's played under 50 snaps so far this year. The Eagles clearly liked him in taking him in the third round as a developmental edge rusher in the preseason. I liked what I saw. He has some physicality to his game, was able to get to the quarterback. He honestly made some plays against the run and dropped back in coverage as an outside linebacker. That really impressed me. So you'll see more from Jalen Hurts. You should ask more from Nolan Smith as far as snaps go. He has 3.5 sacks over his last 5 games. He's really started to turn the corner. Brandon Graham, Josh Sweat, they've played very well for this Eagles team. The loss of Bryce Huff definitely hurts the Eagles' depth, though, at that edge rusher spot. Andrew Nathan, Chase, are you worried about our passing offensive struggles? Do you think that they can get back on track on Sunday night? So the Eagles are 16th in passing DVOA this year, and that's a little bit low, middle of the pack squarely in the NFL among 32 teams. And when you have A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Scudder, Saquon Barkley, this offensive line, yeah, it's fair to ask Jalen Hurts to play a little bit better and to throw the football a little bit better, and for this Eagles passing offense to be a little bit better. Now, you can also make the argument they haven't been able to find as much of a rhythm because they're more of a running team, but we've seen it with our eyes. Sometimes Jalen Hurts struggles a little bit. Now, in 5 of the 6 games during this winning streak, Hurts has had a passer rating over 100. He's played like an MVP, and he's played very well. And part of his game being a dual-threat quarterback, one of the top long balls in the NFL. But he can do a better job getting rid of the ball quicker, being more decisive, being able to see some routes develop in front of him, not taking as many sacks. And so that is a little bit of an issue. That Rams secondary, by the way, to answer your question too, I think the Eagles can attack that secondary, but their defensive line is good, so the Eagles' offensive line will have to hold up in protection. Today's sponsor for our mailbag, DraftKings. Right now, when you bet $5, you get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Here's how. The Emirates NBA Cup is here. You can win big getting in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. All 30 teams split into 6 groups every Tuesday and Friday, playing for the right to advance in the single elimination in-season tourney, culminating in the NBA Cup Championship in Vegas. First time here, here's something special just for you. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Score big with DraftKings Sportsbook. Every point counts. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code SixersChat. That's code SixersChat for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/bball. Some DraftKings odds for Eagles-Rams. The Birds, 3-point road favorites, over-under 49.5. Odds in line, subject to change. And I think when you look at that number, we could see some scoring between two of these high-octane offenses. Next up, nice username, PPSuck_2. Must be a big Darius Slay fan. Or David Akers. Hey, Chase. What is your Eagles' final record for the season, and what other games are we losing? Chip, let's run through the schedule here. I think this could be a fun exercise for the show. We can run through the schedule. So I think the Eagles beat the Rams 9-2. Lose against the Ravens 9-3. Win against the Panthers 10-3. Let's go loss against the Steelers, 10-4, and then 3 straight wins. 13-4 is their record. Win on the road against the Commanders, win at home against the Cowboys, win against the Giants. And obviously your predictions can change depending on the game, but I think the Eagles can get the 13 wins. The Eagles have fared pretty well against Pittsburgh at home. They could easily win that game, but I'm just trying to come up in my head with another defeat at some point. So I think the Eagles win 13 games. PP suck. Joe Lord, let's talk Superman, a.k.a. Quadzilla, a.k.a. Thank You Giants. Any concern on the volume he's seeing and his longevity throughout the year? So a lot of people ask this question going into the year. This was my response. You sign him to a 2-year, $26 million guaranteed contract pretty much. That's what it is. $13 million average annual value. I am running Saquon Barkley so much during the duration of that contract. He looks great. He hasn't lost a step. I think he's holding up very well. I know that he does have a little bit of an injury history. He hasn't missed as much time as what people say. Rookie year, he played all 16 games. 2019, he played 13 of 16. Then he hurt his knee in 2020. 2 games played that year. But then 13, 16, 14, and this year, 10 out of 10. So it's not like he's missed a ton of time. Has he been banged up here and there? For sure. But you see that Saquon Barkley is a physical specimen. And here's hoping that he can continue to play like he's been playing on this trajectory. He has completely changed the Eagles offense. He is such a great weapon. It's such a fun story considering he signed with Philadelphia, left the New York Giants. And you know what's funny? The difference in the dollars that the Giants didn't want to pay Saquon, they gave that guaranteed money to Drew Lock, and they're not even starting him after benching Daniel Jones. They are starting Tommy DeVito. That is a horse crap organization right there. So am I worried about the longevity? Of course you have to be a little bit concerned, but maybe toward the end of the year when the Eagles are racking up some dubs, they can afford to manage his carries a little bit more, or maybe they can sit him for a game at the end of the year against the bad Giants or the bad Cowboys, and you can get them ready for the playoffs. But right now, Eagles are shooting for that number 1 seed, and they should be, and they need Saquon in order to accomplish that. Carol Hosey, who is going to be next to be sent to Guantanamo Bay? Let's hope that it's Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp. I want to see how Quinyon Mitchell matches up against 2 of the top wide receivers in the game. It's going to be a lot of fun. He's had some of the top wide receivers in the game on lockdown all year, and he has just been a special, special player this season. Eagles in Racing 9. Is the Eagles' defense and offense winning games better than last year? No doubt about it. I mean, the Eagles' defense, number 1 overall defense during the 6-game winning streak, they are mountains better than they were a year ago. And this offense is more consistent, more dangerous, more explosive. They could do a better job of starting off faster, and that was an issue last year for sure. But they're wearing teams out throughout the duration of a 60-minute ball game, playing that bully ball. And in the city of Philadelphia, we absolutely love to see that. So this team, a lot better than they were last year, and I don't see them kind of collapsing like they did in 2023 when they lost 6 of their last 7 games. Braylon Rodriguez, $5 super chat. Last question in this sack. Chase, who does your heart tell you is going to the Super Bowl? I think out of the NFC, I do like Detroit and Philadelphia. Out of the AFC, I could see Kansas City, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, or Baltimore make it. I think a lot of it is going to be matchup dependent. For instance, let's say the Eagles get the 2 seed and they have to play the Packers in the first round. Dangerous matchup, man. Really dangerous matchup. What if the Eagles get the Rams? What if the Eagles get the Vikings? What if they get the number 1 seed? And then the NFC has to go through Philadelphia. That improves their chances drastically. But yeah, no, I think a lot of it is matchup dependent, but those are the grouping of teams that I think are true Super Bowl contenders here as we go into Week 12. Don't forget to hit that sub button. Year-round daily coverage of the Birds and you can also be a part of our mailbags here on the show.